Hello, YouTube. We're back here again doing another nerd report. And I got another one that just came on the report desk. And the news, I'm not going to say it's grim, but we got a epic battle on our hands now. So, before we get into it, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and also stay for the story. So, the T-Mobile report did this story, and they're reporting on T-Mobile will soon begin phasing out LTE. Now, anybody who follows, the cellular news, we just got out of the whole LTE era. That's kind of fast, we can say. And I believe that T-Mobile is learning from its past experiences because their predecessors, Sprint, did poorly underneath the 2G, 3G, and 4G eras, and they struggled mightily because of it. And it was probably a lot of it came from the fact of supporting legacy hardware when you shouldn't have been. One of the problems is for Sprint had acquired Nextel, which, yes, I'm about to date myself. That's how old I am. I remember Nextel. I had one. I forget the model number one I had, but basically everybody always wanted to chirp. And Sprint bought them because, hey, it came along with a whole lot of extra perks, but it ran on a separate network than what Sprint was operating natively themselves. And contractors loved the idea to be able to say, hey, look, I'm gonna pick my phone up, I'm gonna, chirp, and all my people that's on my network, on my account, will hear my chirp. That's what the whole idea was. But Sprint kept the chirp around way too long, just to try to entice those customers, basically the business side customers, to stick with them, stay with them, and they kind of ruined the whole experience for the whole company by trying to cater to only a few. Now, fast forward to today, I think that T-Mobile is learning from the past mistakes and going ahead and say, hey, look, we are 5G right now, and whatever new technologies come out, that's what we're going to end up being. And therefore, hey, that's what we're going to end up having. And LTE, yes, was, last 10 years ago. We're not even going to wait around for it. You have T-Satellite for those dead zones. You have 5G for everything else. That's the way I see the company going right now. But the reason why I see this being the bigger of a lot of the industry is because how can I say it? The Verizons and AT&Ts, which, yes, there's only two of them. I'm making it sound a lot more epic than it should be. But those two companies rely more on their predecessor or their previous networks than T-Mobile has. T-Mobile's going all in on future technologies, but Verizon and AT&T have lagged behind in upgrading to 5G and relying more on the 4G side to kind of move into 5G, but not at a faster pace. Now, I'm not an owner of the companies. I don't have any stock in them. I pay my bills just like everybody else does. But what they do on their business side is totally upon them. The problem is going to be this, is there's a dividing that's starting to happen in the industry, and you're starting to see it now, where you got the T-Mobile that's trying to be fast, nimble, and agile in a new market, competitor side, versus the old guard being Verizon, AT&T, where they are kind of not really pushing forward as much. They're not moving forward as fast, and it shows across the board where they still don't have nationwide 5G on the board as of today, nationwide just yet. Do they have pockets? Yes, they got pockets where 5G is live for them, but we talk about nationwide, not yet. T-Mobile's had nationwide for at least a year and a half, almost 2 years currently, in multiple different cities across the nation. So the problem that you're going to start seeing is how much of the legacy do a Verizon or AT&T hold on to, or try to cater to these businesses to keep it around, because their movements towards newer technology also says something about the ability to be able to be as nimble as you need to be. Phasing out LTE devices is going to be the hardest part of doing any type of work. There was probably still a lot of 2G devices out there that T-Mobile had to shut down, and they just shut down the 2G side this February, and that's from the reporting of this article. But I know that, what does this say for consumers, somebody like you and I? It doesn't really say anything. Your phone is going to work the way your phone is going to work. The way that 5G has been implemented is designed to have different paths to be able to operate. So when they first started doing 5G, you had different I think what it's called, but basically there's different ways your phone can communicate with the network, and the network will just adapt itself to the phone condition. So you had non-standalone, you have standalone. The network can easily adapt itself depending on the phone, even the phone. If you had a LTE phone that had 5G but it was still non-standalone, the phone will still operate. It would just throw all the data on the 5G side, and you don't need that much LTE. So people are not going to really see much of an impact on the consumer side. The problem you're going to run into is the business sides. So businesses are going to be the ones that are going to be kind of finicky. I would presume that, given you got to give companies a longer head start so they can adapt and move. I think that T-Mobile's whole mantra is, hey, when newer technologies come up, we need to be able to migrate over and do the thing so we can be at the forefront of the new technology. So because when everything's on your network is roughly the same, you can do better things. That's just what it boils down to. But I would say it's not going to be much of a big deal. Even my parents, and who are up in age, up there in the 70s and 80s, man, they upgrade their phones all day, all the time. I mean, my father has my Fold 3, which runs on T-Mobile perfectly fine. My mom has a new Galaxy S25. So I don't see phone upgrading being an issue for the average consumer per se. It's going to be more business, and the business side is going to end up being the ones that dictate whether or not, do I want to be up here? Do I not want to be there? I do believe that this is a dividing point in the industry per se. AT&T and Verizon cares more about their legacy than T-Mobile does. And that was always something I admired about T-Mobile, which is, hey, move fast, break things. As much as I don't like Mark Zuckerberg for saying that, this qualifies exactly for it across the board. It's, you have newer technologies, utilize those, and the other things will follow and fall in place. Verizon and AT&T, though, this is going to be a bit of a pivotal point for them, because how far ahead are you going to let T-Mobile get before you have to. You can respond all day through commercials and say, hey, I'm tired of that magenta moniker. You can keep doing that all day, but companies are going to start seeing that, hey, T-Mobile has a better solid business plan, even though cutting off the fat, you could per se, would look bad to maybe a couple of older Fortune 500 companies, but newer companies and newer and more nimble companies that can end up going over towards T-Mobile because they're using newer technologies. Where AT&T, you as Verizon, are still only catering to, oh, well, the federal government still likes our 4G. Yes, you have the federal government, but they are breaking into newer potential customers that will give them better prestige. This is the dividing line that I was worried that was going to end up coming up, and it's going to be crazy when it comes around to the competition side. So, what say you? Let me know where you think this might end up going. Do you see them shutting down LTE as a problem? I don't see it as a problem for T-Mobile, but I do see this as a problem for Verizon and AT&T. But that is my opinion. What is your opinion? Put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. And like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see y'all the next time.